Remember the last time? We told you not to feed them after midnight. We told you to keep them away from the light. And the most important warning of all, we told you to never, ever get them wet. You didn't listen.
They're mutating.
Sir, is the building on fire?
No, that's a false alarm.
Are you trying to panic New York City?
Absolutely not. So the monsters are real? I didn't say that.
Gremlins 2. The new batch.
Now, was that civilized? No, clearly not. Fun, but in no sense civilized.
Welcome to BNS About Movies. I'm joined by my handsome Italian stallion of a husband, Samuel.
Hello.
And I'm Becca. And tonight, we're going to watch...
Gremlins 2.
Oh,
This is from 1990, the new batch.
your baby was in kindergarten.
It was directed again by Joe Dante, written by Charles Haas, with creature designs by Rick Baker. It brings back Zach Galligan and Phoebe Cates. Dick Miller's in it. Jackie Joseph, Robert Picardo, John Glover, Robert Prosky, and Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee's in it, yes.
And it also has Tony Randall and Frank Welker, who was the voice of the dog in Hudson Hawk,
Yeah.
providing the voice for two gremlins. The story continues the adventure of Gizmo, once again voiced by
A cute person.
Howie Mandel.
Really?
Yep. Who spawns numerous small monsters when wet through a skyscraper in New York City.
Do you know what the building's called?
What's the building called?
The Clamp Building.
Ah.
Yes, for Daniel Clamp.
As with the first film, it's a live-action horror comedy film. However, Dante put effort into taking the sequel in new, anarchic directions. The film is meant to be more cartoon-like and less dark than the original, with more slapstick.
The first one was a lot more scary.
It's really dark, actually.
When you were little, like, watching that,
Yeah.
it was a scary movie. It wasn't a kid's movie.
Yeah. There are also a number of parodies of other films and stories, most notably The First Gremlins, Rambo, Wizard of Oz, Marathon Man, and The Phantom of the Opera.
Yep.
This starts with Mr. Wayne Key Luke dying, and the Mogwai Gizmo becoming a guinea pig, a mad scientist at Clamp Enterprises.
Yes.
At the mercy of Dr. Catheter, Christopher Lee,
Christopher Lee.
Gizmo is rescued by his friend Billy and Kate, both of whom have worked there.
It's the skyscraper of the future. It has television studios, a shopping mall, offices, all kinds of stuff. Is what I think every building should have been in the 90s.
A lot of Joe Dante movies, if you've ever watched it, have a lot of inside jokes.
Yeah.
For example, Dr. Catheter's assistants' names
Yeah.
are Martin and Lewis.
They're played by twins.
Yes. Julie Sweeney's in this.
Who does she play?
She plays Peggy, the lab receptionist. Paul Bartel's in it as a theater manager.
Oh, yeah, she is in it.
Hulk Hogan plays himself.
Yes.
Leonard Maltin plays himself. And then there's a ton of various cast and crew and guest cameos. Jerry Goldsmith is a yogurt customer. John Aston is a janitor. Henry Gibson is an employee. Rick DeCuman is a security guard. Joe Dante is the director of Grandpa Fred's show. Dick Buckus and Bubba Smith appear as themselves. The cast of the PBS series Square One TV appear. And then, so the voices in this, as we mentioned before, Joe Dante is the Beanie and Witch Gremlin. Howie Mandel's Gizmo. Tony Randall is Brain. Frank Welker's Mohawk Stripe, and many other ones. And then this movie actually turns into a Looney Tunes segment that has real animation by Chuck Jones. Jones had quit animation before returning to this, and he really wanted to set the tone of the movie. The DVD and Blu-ray include a longer version in the beginning. The movie is called The Return of Super Daffy Meets Gremlins 2 Part 6, the movie. So Chuck Jones actually had his signature. He was pretty excited, to be in it. Unfortunately, Jeff Bergman did the voices because Mel Blanc had died before the movie was done. So they wanted a sequel right away. Dante declined because he saw Gremlins as already having an ending, and a sequel was only meant to be a profit. Moreover, the original film was a lot of problems for Dante. He wanted to move on. Work on the movie continued without him. The original storylines included Gremlins going to cities like Las Vegas or even Mars. After these ideas fell through, the studio returned to Joe Dante, who agreed to make the sequel only after getting something that every director wants.
What?
Complete creative control of the movie. And triple the budget. But he acknowledged himself that too much time had passed. Gremlins 2 exaggerated what could be seen on cable television at the time. Though, as the filmmakers noted in 2002, the humor could be lost on modern audiences. Dante referred to this film as one of the most unconventional studio pictures ever. He included material that he believed Warner Brothers would not have allowed had they not wanted a sequel to Gremlins. He was allowed to break the rules of filmmaking. He feels that this was his most personal film. In fact, he wanted this film to be a satire of sequels in general. And an hour into the film, he wanted to make the movie as completely cartoony and ridiculous as possible. The sequel has cameo appearances by film critics, including Leonard Maltin.
Ebert, right?
Yeah, and Leonard Maltin talks about how shitty the first Gremlins was.
Yeah.
Just as he did in reality.
And then they get attacked.
Yeah. Partly for the scene, one academic called Dante one of contemporary cinema's great pranksters. I completely agree. I'm a big fan.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Hoyt Axton was going to return.
What, honey?
Hoyt Axton was going to return,
Oh.
and he didn't. He was going to have a scene where he invented special clothing for Gizmo, where he would never have to touch water again. There is a deleted scene in the movie. Christopher Lee was revered on the set. He imagined his role as lighthearted, but Dante encouraged him.
What does revered mean?
Loved, much loved.
Oh.
Dante encouraged him to play the scientist as evil, better match to the atmosphere. In a deleted scene, Cather examines a bat injected with genetic sunblock and says, "I'm told sometimes they feed on blood." Later on, as the bat gremlin is transforming, the Hammer Dracula music plays in the background. Christopher Lee stares at the screen. I can see why people don't like this movie as much. It is a movie that pretty much makes fun of movies as it's a movie. It also has two of my favorite songs in it.
No.
Angel of Death by Slayer and Surprise You're Dead by Faith No More. It wasn't well liked by a lot of critics. It's kind of divisive.
It's a fan favorite.
Yeah, they're looking to reboot the franchise.
I don't want them to.
And they're talking about just doing a sequel maybe too, and not an overall. Just actually what would happen in Gremlins 3. My phone is, if you hear these noises, it's because my phone is constantly resetting itself. Joe Dante directed Piranha and The Howling, Gremlins, Explorers, Inner Space, The Burbs, Matinee, Small Soldiers, Looney Tunes Back in Action. And he currently works on Hawaii Five-0. When he did Piranha, produced by Roger Corman, it was inspired by Steven Spielberg's Jaws and was written by John Sayles. Sayles also wrote The Howling, which was his next movie. Dante also directed the cult TV series Police Squad, and he did It's a Good Life and Twilight Zone, the movie. He was invited by Steven Spielberg to be in that. The Burbs, of course, as well. A very famous, fun movie. Dante recently made a movie called Burying the X. He's on the board of advisors for the Hollywood Horror Museum, and he was executive producer on the movie Dark. Much like John Carpenter, he has a stock company of actors that have appeared in most of his movies, including Dick Miller, Belinda Blasky, Archie Hahn, and Robert Picardo. And there's a ton of people. You can see here a list of people. He's
Kathleen Quinlan.
Yes.
I love her.
Don't ever throw your phone in the garbage, by the way.
In a wet garbage.
In a wet garbage. We'll do a little bit of trivia, and then we'll start the exciting episode. I'll ask my wife some trivia. Okay.
Maybe I'll ask you the trivia.
The uplifting end of the world video scene was included by filmmakers when they found out that one of the news networks actually has a video prepared to run in case of the end of the world. The video still exists and is ready to run at any point.
I thought this would never run. Maybe it will. Now.
Because of the end of civilization, the Clamp Cable Network now leaves the air. We hope you have enjoyed our programming, but more importantly, we hope you have enjoyed life.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, yes, sir. It's very uplifting.
In the deleted scene, the Gremlins were to release the animals in the Spice of Life lab. In the filming of the scene, the monkeys on the lab set were so terrified of the Gremlins, they refused to leave their cages. Gizmo imitated Rambo and had to get permission from Sylvester Stallone to use him. At one point in the film, Joe Dante attempted to involve the audience in the story by making it seem as if the Gremlins had taken over the theater. Warner Brothers wanted this scene cut because they thought people in the theater would think the film actually malfunctioned. Do you know what movie he took this idea from?
That movie with the things.
William Castle's The Tingler.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's one where they scream, "The Tingler's loose in the theater!"
They had the things under the seats.
Yep. In John Waters' book, he talks about he went to see The Sound of Music, and all the projectionists were stoners.
Yeah.
They would use the Tingler's button during the matinees when nuns would sit and watch the movie, and they would tingle the nuns with it.
That's funny.
Ladies and gentlemen, please do not panic, but scream! Scream for your lives! The Tingler is loose in this theater, and if you don't scream, it may kill you! Scream! Scream! Keep screaming! Scream for your lives! It's here! It's over here! Help! 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 Look out, it's under the seat! Ladies and gentlemen, it's under the seat! The Tingler has been paralyzed by your screaming. There is no more danger. We will now resume the showing of the movie.
The opening aerial shot of this movie was not even shot for this movie. It was stock footage from Superman 4. When Christopher Lee was cast in the movie, the first thing he did was apologize to Joe Dante for appearing in The Howling 2 because it was such a bad movie. Gremlins is PG-13 because Gremlins, the original Gremlins, invented the PG-13 rating. It's one of the reasons why. The original is PG. Leonard Maltin, we talked about, is in it. Mohawk is a recreation of Stripe from the original film. The movie that Grandpa Fred plays is Octoman. Reason why is it was Rick Baker's first movie that he designed a costume for. The woman who screams at the theater manager regarding the movie's inappropriate tone is the fact. A woman yelled at him after the first Gremlins came out. Joe Dante told cashiers to cinema in 1990 that Warner Brothers made this movie open directly opposite Dick Tracy, hoping that Dick Tracy would not break the record that Batman had set.
It did pretty good, though, huh?
Yep. Do you know what the other Mogwais are called in this movie?
What's it start with?
They're a reference to John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men.
What's a letter start with?
G. George and Lenny. And Daffy. There's a sample of the music from the Burbs in here. And the gremlin who is in the microwave was based on the Kraken from Clash of the Titans. Chris Wallace, who did the special effects for the first film, turned this down because he got to direct The Fly 2. In the scene where Mohawk drinks a potion, the sound effect from Tarantula can be heard, and it's also the same sound of the Martian war machines in the War of the Worlds. As the Bat Gremlin crashes through the wall, it leaves a hole in the shape of the Batman symbol, as we all know from the awesome Key and Peele one.
Yes.
What about a bat gremlin?
You mean a gremlin with leathery wings just flying around, flip-flopping, bust through a wall, make a perfect bat symbol in the wall, get outside, get in some wet concrete, jump up on a building and just dry in place like a gargoyle gremlin? We are cooking with gas now. I love it. It's in the movie next.
In the Italian version of this movie, an Italian art critic was the voice of Brain Gremlin. The character Daniel Clamp is based on
Donald Trump.
exactly future president.
That's why he fought the gremlins. He can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna make America full of gremlins again.
In the quarter of the Clamp Tower, there's an office that says Vectroscope Labs.
Yes.
This is the lab from Inner Space.
Yes, it is.
Yep. The do you know what the Wilhelm scream is?
The what?
The Wilhelm scream.
No.
There's one scream that's used in almost every movie.
Uh-huh.
It's called the Wilhelm scream, and it's used throughout this movie by the Gremlins. Tim Curry almost was the brain villain. The original version of this film, much longer. Steven Spielberg said there are too many Gremlins. Mel Blanc did the hiccups that are in here. When Gizmo first sees the janitor, played by John Astin, his voice says, "Gomez."
Did you tell everyone we have a gremlin?
Ange is not too sure about this movie. No. Joe Dante actually prefers this film to the original.
I do too.
There is a nameplate in a Clamp Tower for an office of Dr. Quatermass from the movie The Quatermass Experiment. Yes. A billboard of Do the Right Things there. Hogan is wearing his belt in this movie. However, he was no longer the champion.
But he's Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, exactly. You want to put Hulk Hogan in a movie? The reason why they use I'm Ready by Fats Domino is actually they wanted to use Dancing by Myself by Billy Idol. Billy Idol would not let that song be used in Gremlins 2. This is the fourth collaboration between Joe Dante, Michael Fennell, and Steven Spielberg. Christopher Lee went on to appear with John Astin's son Sean Astin and granddaughter Allie Astin in Lord of the Rings. They have no scenes together, though. Yeah. Scenes from A Wonderful Life can be seen throughout the movie.
Yeah.
In the novelization of Young Sherlock Holmes, there is a reference to Gremlins. This was the number 31st most successful film of 1990. Film is, let's see, Robert Picardo did voice work on Total Recall. He's the voice of Johnny Cab.
Hi, I'm Johnny.
I'm Johnny Cab.
He goes, have a good day.
This is the second Steven Spielberg movie to involve a Looney Tunes character. What's the first one?
This is the what?
The second Steven Spielberg movie involving the Looney Tunes. What's the first one?
I know, I've probably seen it.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yes, they're in it. They're in the studio.
Yes.
They're walking around. Toontown.
John Astin's son Sean had appeared in The Goonies. The original Gremlins also featured another
That's
Goonie.
his son?
Yeah, Sean Astin, yeah. The original...
From Encino Man?
The original Gremlins featured another Goonie, Corey Feldman.
Yes.
Yes.
He played Billy, didn't he? Or
Yes.
no, that was the... Was he Billy? That's the main guy's name.
Yeah. At one point, one of the ideas for editing the movie was the Gremlins were supposed to be killed by Daniel Clamp filling up the building with cement. That was till the animators discovered they had the technology to create an electrical gremlin, which they felt could improve the movie and its ending. The composer of this film, Jerry Goldsmith, wrote the music for Rambo. In this film, Rambo claims to survive a war, you got to become war. When Gizmo hears those words, that's what inspires him. So I'm pretty excited to see this. I saw it twice. I saw it once in the theater, and I I didn't see it in the theater. I saw the first one, and then I just never got around to seeing this one. It kind of came out in a time in my life, I think, where I was just graduating high school.
You're like, I'm too cool for Gremlins.
No, I wasn't too cool, but I'm
going to the art school.
It came out in the summer of my graduation, like June 15th.
I'm busy. That's what you said.
It didn't
So
make...
you never saw this?
Oh, I saw it on VHS.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting is on VHS, it has a completely different scene.
Mm-hmm.
When the film breaks, in the movie theaters, it looks like the film's burning and the sprockets come loose and stuff.
Can we put the Hulkster in it?
What? You talking about putting Hulk Hogan, professional wrestler turned actor turned cultural icon in the movie where he break the fourth wall of the movie he's in by talking to the audience. You, sir, are a raging psychopath. Don't let this town take that away from you.
On the home video one, the tracking goes crazy.
The breakies. Sir, what happened? What happened? They fought back. That's what... Things. Stuff. I swear to God, young man, I will never hurt anything ever again. There's some things that man is not brought to this place.
He is a problem tenant. Sir, please try and calm down. We don't intend to renew your lease.
Just tell us where you're sold.
Bunny rabbit. Fourscore 7 years ago.
Rustlers. Hold it.
No.
Get the hell off my spread. Now, go on back to your own movie.
Hey, I bet that was a... Say, do you think that... Hey, could that have been a... Gremlin? It led Batman.
Well, I warned them. I don't need varmints on my ranch, and you folks don't need them in your TV sets. Let's start that movie up again.
I love Joe Dante. Like, he's one of my favorite filmmakers. We'll have to watch The Howling too, because it's really good.
Yeah.
And like, I really liked that he was a lifelong movie buff. He was a big fan of Famous Monsters magazine. He used to write into it. His letters are in it if you look back in old issues.
Yeah. And
he actually wrote for a couple other zines. He knew a lot about movies. And I think this was his chance. Really, like he said, this is the movie he always wanted to make. Yeah. So, for better or worse. Now, seeing that Key and Peele sketch, nothing in this movie, like, it's crazy. I mean, it's... The thing is, here's the thing I don't like about the original Gremlins. Mm-hmm. I do like and don't like. It's pretty ballsy. It's a really dark movie. Mm-hmm. The scene where Phoebe Cates talks about her dad dying on Christmas and then not finding his body, it's a real left turn in that movie.
This one is different, though. This is where she talks about Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
The guy was like a ghost or whatever.
Yeah.
She's psychotic. That's what that means.
I have to tell you.
What?
When I was
you were
18,
in love with her?
I wasn't in love with her. But Phoebe Cates...
Was it?
I actually brought up 2 Phoebe Cates movies for my potential movie to watch with you.
Oh.
I brought up Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which is, many boys feel, the best nude scene in the history of nude scenes. It's actually on Mr. Skin's list. It's always been number 1.
That's good. For Mr. Skin.
Well, Mr. Skin. He has the Skin Anatomy Awards. There's dudes that are willing to pay. They have Mr. Man, too. That's for gay guys.
And women, maybe.
And women. I don't think women really care about seeing nude scenes in movies. Except for Color of Night, so you can see Bruce Willis's peep.
Yeah. My husband has the same peep as Bruce Willis, though, so I'm lucky.
How so? Really?
Just let me tell you that it's the same.
Really? Well,
so another reason, number 219, I married you. I said,
fans
is that Bruce Willis?
if you'd like to know what I might look like naked,
just look up Bruce Willis.
See Color of Night while I'm attacking people.
Yes.
I stunt peeped for that movie.
Yeah,
I
you
told
did.
you. I was a body double.
You were his butt, too.
I was his butt, and I was his peep.
No, your butt would go recognize.
My butt would be
Your butt
recognized.
is particularly special.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think we should probably start Gremlins at this point.
Yes.
All right, we're going to watch Gremlins 2. You should do it. By the way, a little update on our movies.
We have to buy a bigger house.
We went on vacation, mini vacation while Becca was working this week. And we were in the beautiful Du Bois Mall that still has an FYE, which...
It's like 1980s, I feel like.
Yeah.
13-year-old and 14-year-old girls hang out there with,
I picked up my wife there.
Stirrup pants and big earrings.
I picked her up.
Like the doors, everything, a lot of the decor has not changed.
Also, there's
it's like a time warp.
Also, unlike most malls, there's no easy way to get to the FYE. You have to walk.
You had to go on a treasure hunt. My husband actually found it. I'd never been there before.
You know how most malls have multiple ways to get to a place?
Yeah, no.
There's no multiple ways. You got to walk through corridors and
400 miles.
Yeah, and they had a big sale on DVDs, and we bought 15, 20 DVDs there.
Like 10.
Yeah.
But
and we bought a couple other ones a couple others in a row. We bought Xanadu, so that Devin and Pat would come back, do another show with us. The next day,
Saturday,
we went to Half Price Books. They took over the Pittsburgh Convention Center in Monroeville
to do their clearance sale. Everything was under $2.
They had, I would say, 40 tables full of DVDs.
Yeah.
And we looked all through it, and we came out with...
I even had to have conversations with people just to get them to move along. And I had my tactics. It was 58 and 4, 62 movies.
62 movies.
They're like, that's $107. It sounds like, I kept saying to myself, it's just $2. It's just $2. I look over at my husband, he's dragging what do they call those, bachelors?
Yeah.
A bachelor shopping cart. And he's like, ugh, my arm.
There were a lot of movies.
We bought a lot for my parents, though, too.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We got the Killer Shrews, which is and Bucket of Blood, which are probably the most hard to find ones.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of... I was talking to Jim and Adam about it, where they're very much exist on streaming media and don't have physical media.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I have... But then we were talking about it, and Jim came to agree with me. And I was like, well, if I want to watch a movie, I'll watch anytime. Jim's like, there's so many movies that aren't on streaming.
Oh.
And streaming's not always reliable.
You may go out of print and you may never get it again.
And I said, the thing to me is, I got some of them for $1.
Uh-huh.
If I pay $1 for Animal House, like if I want to watch Animal House, like I know it's on all the time, but I could just put it in.
Pick when you want
I want to pick when I want to watch it. And then I also know that the streaming is I don't have to wait for things to move along and stuff, and it's ready. And you know what? Like, we are probably the last generation that cares about this. I like the physical nature of owning a movie and having it in my house and reading through the cast and looking at the box art and alphabetizing them and putting them together.
It's a hobby of yours.
I love it. I love looking. That's the thing. I love looking at that shelf and seeing the movies and saying, oh, we have this library of movies that we can watch whenever we want. And people come over and go, wow, Becca and Sam really like movies.
And our future child is going to go to someone's house one day
and
be like, where's your guys' movies?
They're going to say to other...
And they're going to be like, we don't have them. We have Apple TV. We have Netflix. We have this. My parents have 400,000 movies.
I'm going to teach our future kid how to fight, because these will be the kind of conversations he's going to have. Like, they'll be like, did you see the new blah, blah, blah movie with somebody from YouTube? And our kid will be like, no, I was watching The Oblong Box with Vincent Price.
Exactly.
I was watching... I was watching Queen of Blood, the Mario Bava movie that inspired Alien. And I hope our kid really grows up to be really just opinionated
what
and
if it's the
pig-headed.
next future president? What if we are in the White House one day?
What if our child...
What if I put my husband in the Lincoln bedroom?
What if my child becomes the next Joe Dante?
Yeah.
I'm not... I don't want to live through my child. I see a lot of parents do that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, if our child wants to play baseball or football or do any of these things, I'm going to encourage them.
Or be in pageants. I'll encourage that.
Yeah, I'll encourage it. But if they just want to sit with their dad and watch horror movies in front of the TV, as I did with my dad. My dad and I used to get up and watch Night of the Creeps while we were eating oatmeal. And I'd say, Dad, that movie's disgusting. Or, you know what my dad and I would do? We would paint, and we would put on the kitchen TV, and we'd paint at the kitchen table, and we'd watch Fright Night, or we'd watch Alien, and we'd watch movies together. That's some of my favorite memories of my entire life. I can remember watching Fright Night, and I was so scared I watched most of it in the hallway. And he said, get in here.
Oh, baby.
I was like 13. I was young. And I was a little boy trying to be a big boy.
Trying to be a big boy.
Trying to be a big boy.
Yeah.
All right. As I always say, let's start the movie.
Yes.
If you have the movie,
Watch
you can
it
get
with
this
us.
movie on there's a double Gremlins disc. It's not streaming anywhere, but you can find it. You can get Gremlins 2, the new batch, a lot of places. We paid $4 for it. I think it's definitely worth $4. If you got it, I'm sure you could download it if you want to stream it and watch it. You could, I'm sure Amazon or one of those things has it.
If you want to see a gremlin, you just come to our house.
Oh, he's going to be on the poster.
I know.
He looks just like Spike.
You should have his head sticking around the chair, like with the cigar.
Oh, yeah, that should be the poster.
And you should get a picture of Billy and her, Kate, and we'll be in their uniforms. She wears that uniform with the hat.
Yeah.
It's got the building on it.
Yeah. Also,
She does tours.
as we were at the bookstore, the book sale, Ange was getting a haircut, so it looks even more like a gremlin.
He does.
He got a report card
Yes.
based on how he acted. And he did real well, except I never knew this. He gets a sanitary cut, which is a cut around his peep and butt.
Yes.
And he was too angry for them to continue the sanitary cut.
So now he has a peep skirt.
He's really tired today.
Well, he had a big day.
Yeah.
So he got up at 4.
Listen to this.
Alright.
Got up at 4. Was awake.
Slept through the morning, then went to his grandparents. Ate his steak meal. Had 2 strips of bacon. French fries. He's better than most kids in third world countries. Unfortunately.
No, he's my son.
He's our baby, so that's okay. He says, I'm a baby.
Alright, well, again, get ready for Gremlins 2. The new batch.
Hi, folks. I'm Rico.
Oh, Nacho.
He's Peppy.
See.
You can find us at the concession stand in the lobby.
Along with all sorts of other tasty goodies.
See, Rico's Nachos, a refreshingly new and different snack discovery. Chock full of high-quality ingredients, crisp, fresh tortilla chips, covered with creamy aged cheddar cheese, topped off with zesty jalapeno pepper rings. Rico's Nachos, out of sight.
Remember, folks, we're the new star at the snack bar. Rico's Nachos, a new taste treat you can't beat.
See? Rico's Nachos, on sale at the snack bar now.
Well, after 3 nights, we finished watching Gremlins 2. So, I loved this movie. I loved this movie. I think I like this movie more than the first Gremlins.
I know I do.
It's great. It's so much fun, and there's not really any story at all in this movie.
No.
Just, stuff happens. Just Gremlins take over a building.
Gremlins don't give a fuck.
Gremlins take over a building, and then suddenly, everything about the first Gremlins, they're not Gremlins anymore. One becomes a bat, and one turns into electricity. One becomes a vegetable gremlin.
A girl gremlin.
A spider gremlin. one gets shot full of holes and laughs about it. They have a giant musical number. Leonard Maltin gets killed by some gremlins. Hulk Hogan stops the gremlins from screwing around.
We have gremlins in the projection booth. Could you help us?
Gremlins? In this theater? Now? Okay, you guys, listen up. People paid good money to see this movie. When they go out to a theater, they want cold sodas, hot popcorn, and no monsters in the projection booth. Do I have to come up there myself? Do you think the Grimsters can stand up to the Hulkster? Well, if I were you, I'd run the rest of Gremlins too, right now. Sorry, folks. It won't happen again.
Christopher Lee gets electrocuted by gremlins.
Makes me sad.
There's a lot of stuff that happens in this movie. And Donald Trump helps fight gremlins pretty much because it's Clamp is Donald Trump. Even wanting to run for president at one point and own Vermont.
I like Clamp though. I wish he would run.
I like Clamp. He's also very much Ted Turner.
Yeah.
And this building seems more like CNN Center than and also it really is amazing that Joe Dante put this movie out, and I'm sure people went to this movie and were like, what the fuck am I watching? But
I mean, this was a little scary for a kids movie.
The ending's really scary with all of them melding. And it's just like an anarchy in the movie. Like, nothing... It's just like, it makes fun of movies pretty much most of the movie. It makes fun of sequels. It makes fun of itself. It reminds me... So I was thinking about it this morning when I was getting ready.
Yeah.
And the first movie is good and has some great ideas and sets up the hierarchy of it. But, like, my favorite comic book artist of all time is Jack Kirby. And when he left Marvel to work for DC in the early 70s, he did this book called New Gods. And, like, when Kirby did Fantastic Four earlier, he had a lot of different ideas, but he spaced it out issue by issue. And New Gods, like, every single page has, like, 20 ideas. And some of them are never followed up on. And it's just, like, it's awesome, but it's almost hard to read because so much happens. That's what this movie feels like. It feels like there's maybe 100 ideas in this movie that could have been... A movie about a bat gremlin could have just been its own movie.
You want to hear a dog gremlin?
Yeah. So who was your favorite gremlin?
Teen.
Besides Teen.
He's my Mogwai. Mine is the smart one.
Smart gremlin?
Yes. I like his accent.
I like all of them so much. It's really hard to pick. Spider Gremlin, probably.
That's what I figured you would like.
Because he comes out to Slayer.
It's true. What's that green bug on the ceiling?
It's a gremlin.
That's literally green.
Yeah, it's a bright green bug.
What is it?
It's like a little green bug. It's okay.
I think you should get it.
No.
What if it gets in our noses while
It
we
won't.
sleep and
It
we
won't.
become gremlins?
I would love to be a gremlin. I would so enjoy.
You're not kill the bugs, gremlin.
I would not go to work. I would not go to work.
Your wife, what gremlin am I? Smoky gremlin.
I would not go to work. And I would just be a gremlin.
Yeah.
It would be wonderful. It would just be a gremlin.
But what gremlin am I?
You're,
Smoky.
hot gremlin.
Oh.
I'm beer gremlin.
Yeah.
My baby has dreadlocks.
You do. Predator gremlin.
Predator gremlin. My wife met somebody today that had
Did you see that?
the predator thing on his wrist.
And let me just tell you.
And he knew who Fred Decker was.
And he told me, he goes, you know what their names are? And I said, what? And he said, Black and Decker.
Shane Black and Fred Decker.
Did they make the second one?
They made the first one, and
Yeah.
then they're making the new one. It's just called The Predator.
Because anyways, he was helping me find something. I don't think he was the produce manager, but he was just there. And
What
I
store
saw
was this, babe?
Natrona Heights.
Oh.
So anyways, they have the normal name tags, and if you see yellow beneath it, that means they're some level of authority. So I just, your wife, I just yell, "Hey, excuse me, can you help me?" Because I couldn't figure something
Predator,
out.
come here.
Hey, Predator. No, so anyways, he had long sleeves on, like a button down.
Yeah.
And then he went like this when he was talking to me, and I saw it out of the corner of my eye. I saw it had the little designs, and I went, "Is that a Predator tattoo?" And he said, "Yes, why, yes it is." I was like, "What?" And I said, "My husband has to see this. I have to take a picture." He had the keypad with the.
I saw it. These had to blow up.
So then I was like, "Well, okay, thank you." And he started following me. "Did you know there's another one?" I said, "No."
Oh, yeah.
So then we talked.
You should watch Predators.
Yeah.
That one's really good.
It's not.
No, it's really good.
Didn't we buy it?
Yeah, they take all these killers from all these different planets.
Yeah.
And they dump them, and the predators kidnap them and put them on a world so they can hunt them.
Mm.
And it's got, like, awesome actors in it.
Mm.
And they,
Because I actually have thought of getting that same tattoo before, but now I can't get it.
I can make you a Predator kitty.
You could?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to settle for that, yes.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Gremlins 2 a lot. It was $4. I'm probably going to watch it again. I feel like I watched it like 5 times this week.
You have. We watched it Monday through Thursday.
You know what? This is a good review, and it doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
Gremlins 2 is a good movie to put on when you're going to bed. It is, because it's like comforting, and a lot of crazy stuff happens. And the DVD, even though this is an older DVD, has a lot of extra stuff. Like, it has a making of, it has Joe Dante commentary. It's got additional scenes with and without commentary that aren't even color corrected. It's got a gag reel, the trailer. It's got a lot of stuff. I really liked how he got in a lot of his actors that he always puts in movies in this. I'm looking up the guy's name who's in the theater because he's my favorite person.
Who is it?
I'm looking him up. I typed in Tremlins too. Not Gremlins too. Ah. My wife delights and try to make me laugh while we're doing podcasts. But
She doesn't get to see you all day. This is what happens.
Dick Miller was great in this. They're talking about making a Gremlins 3, but
they're gonna ruin it.
they should never.
Mm-mm.
Microwave Marge, Kathleen Freeman played her.
Yeah, she's in inner space.
There's almost everybody in this movie is in inner space.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Looking for what his name is. Movie theater Paul Bartel. That's his name. He's been in he's in Eating Raoul.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, he's in The Usual Suspects. He's a congressman in Escape from L.A.
Mm-hmm.
He's in European Vacation. He plays Mr. Froger. He is in... let's see what else. He's Joe's Apartment. Remember that MTV movie?
Oh, God, with the bugs.
Yeah, he's in Jerky Boys, the movie. Which I may try to make my wife watch someday.
I might like it if what's-his-name's in it.
He's in Caddyshack 2.
Is the guy like in it?
Who?
The gay guy.
His voice is in it, yeah.
What does he say?
I'm only cut up about the head, face, head, neck, and chest region, but a little makeup conceals it all.
What do you say?
He's like, do you do runway? Runway's old hat to me, baby. and she goes, well, you're kind of freaking me out over the phone. Well, I'd do some things to you in person, let me tell you what. Is Rasan there?
That's who?
Rasan?
Rashad.
I want to come down and show him my toolbox.
No, I want to come show him my stuff.
I want to show you my shit, baby. Oh, you know what else Parvertel's in? He's in Death Race 2000.
Mm.
And he plays Frankenstein, the guy who raises Frankenstein off the table. You've never seen it, so. He's also in Private Parts.
Mm-hmm.
Not the Howard Stern one.
What Private Parts?
The Private Parts with the, what do you call it? With the blood
Jeff
ball.
Fahey?
Yeah, that one. He actually directed that movie.
What?
And he directed Death Race 2000. Holy cow. And Eating Raoul. And Lust in the Dust with Tab Hunter. And he directed 2 episodes of the Clueless TV series. Man.
What?
I'll tell you what. Paul Bartel.
People are
He wrote
surprising me.
some stuff too.
Yeah.
What did he write? He wrote he wrote Eating Raoul. So he plays himself in some movies too. Oh, he played himself in like some making of. But he's also in the Roger Corman documentary. But yeah, he just randomly shows up in movies. He's he died in 2000. That's why I haven't seen him. He Eating Raoul's movie about two cannibals. It's him and Mary Warnoff, who was also in she's in a ton of stuff. They were sex swingers to their apartment, hit him with a skillet, and then eat him. He's also in the Christy McVie video for Well Will Show Us How, and he donated his body to medical science after he died of liver cancer.
You're not doing that.
In 2000. He only made $5,500 for directing Death Race for Roger Corman.
What?
Roger Corman was notorious for not paying anybody anything.
No.
Yeah. Let me see who else was I thinking? John Glover, who played Daniel Clamp. What else was he in?
He's in a couple things.
Oh, he's done a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
He's still doing stuff too. He's in RoboCop 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's good. What about the redhead girl that you like?
Oh, yeah.
Maria Bloodstone. Is that her name?
Marla
Bloodstone. Yeah, that's her.
I think.
Yeah. Marla Bloodstone.
Yeah, I told you 16
She's
candles.
Home Alone 3.
She's in Who's That Girl?
16 Candles. She's still doing some work. A lot of TV work. Oh. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, she plays. What is her? Wendy Worthington. That's what it is. Yep. I was trying to think of her name.
Huh. Wendy Worthington.
Yes.
Has Phoebe Cates done anything lately other than her daughter being a musician? Nope, she hasn't done anything since 2001.
Princess Caraboo.
Really, if you think about that, she did Drop Dead Fred, a Becca favorite.
Yes.
Shag. Gremlins 1 and 2. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Waste 2. Really? And Bright Lights Big City. She could have pretty much quit after that.
She did have a baby.
And then she did. Dick Miller was in a ton of stuff, as we talked about. He was in a lot of Roger Corman movies. He's the pawn shop clerk in Terminator. He was Murray, the guy. He's in both movies. The old guy that comes back. He's still in tons of movies, too. But he's in, like, if you want, Microwave Marge, Kathleen Freeman. She was the old woman in Shrek. She's in Naked Gun.
Told you, Inner Space.
And she's also in the Blues Brothers. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to say about what would you give this movie?
An A.
I would give this a...
I would give it a G for Great and Gremlins.
I'd give it an A.
Oh, yeah.
Julie Sweeney's in it. John Ashton. Henry Gibson's in it for a second. Howie Mandel is Gizmo's voice. The brainy gremlin that you liked, Tony Randall. Tony Randall! Did you ever see that sketch?
Tony Randall. No.
That's my all-time favorite sketch on Saturday Night Live, one of them. It's, what do you call it?
What?
It's when Tom Hanks would host, he'd always be short-term memory guy. He got hit in the head, and he can only remember a couple minutes of time. So he's on password. And they say, You're playing with Tony Randall. And he turns and goes, Tony Randall! And every time he does it, like, he can't believe that he's meeting Tony Randall over and over and over and over again.
Meet your celebrity partner, Mr. Tony Randall.
I am a big fan of yours.
Nice to meet you, Jeff.
Okay, gentlemen, you know the rules. Jeff will give the clues, and Tony will receive.
Wow! Tony Randall! Hey! I am a big fan of yours.
Good, thank you.
Could I have your autograph, please? Please.
Now?
Yes, please. Please.
There you go.
What is this? Tony Randall. What, you just hand these out to people you meet? That's a little sad.
You just asked me for it. You begged.
What? Tony Randall!
Okay, just...
If you like this movie, Becca, you would also like
Inner Space.
Gremlins, Ghostbusters 2, Beetlejuice, Batman Returns, Batman, Ghostbusters, Mars Attacks, Superman, Edward Scissorhands, Superman 2, RoboCop. I think that's a pretty good thing. Parents.
Yes.
Parents Advisory. Contains very mild innuendo. In one scene, the Gremlins break the fourth wall, and there is nudity on the screen. In an early scene in the film, a woman flirts with a man in a committed relationship. The strongest moment of violence is when a gremlin goes into a paper shredder.
And he turns into green jello.
Yeah. It says, contains comic horror throughout. The gremlins are grotesque and intimidating, though they behave in a very silly manner.
Like teen.
And very young children may find them to be frightening.
Just like teen.
Do you want to know the plot keywords?
What?
Hulk Hogan.
What?
Skyscraper. Horror host.
This is the name of my band.
Footsie under the table. Intentional goof.
That's the name of my band.
I'm going to look up what other films are intentional goof. Science Run Amok. Broken Rules. Turn to Stone. Giant Spider. Kiss leaves lipstick on face.
What?
Gargoyle.
Oh, those are more keywords.
Genetic research. Metal in a microwave oven.
Yes.
Talking to animals.
Yes.
Punctuation in the title.
Yes.
Die Hard scenario. Yes. Manhattan, New York City. Yes. Lifting people into the air. Surprise during end credits. Surprise ending. Camel. Reference to Porky Pig.
Where was there a camel? Oh, yeah, there was one.
The most popular movies that break the fourth wall?
What?
What do you think the most popular one would be?
I forget.
Deadpool. Intentional goofs. You know what's funny? If you look through this list of intentional goofs in movies, all of them are my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Death Proof, Kill Bill 2, Grindhouse, Planet Terror, Gremlins 2: The New Batch,
I think they just know what you look up.
Amazon Woman on the Moon, Spicy Sister Slumber Party.
These are what?
These are movies that have intentional goofs.
They're movies that my husband was like,
I would not like Spicy Sister Slumber Party.
you don't know that?
No, I wouldn't. I've seen enough of those movies. Cinemax After Dark movies. They're horrible. They're all
Red
bad.
Shoe Diaries.
No, that's Zalman King's too classy for me.
I know.
What are you doing?
I'm just looking.
If you like this movie, you'll also like Kentucky Fried Movie. Amazon Women on the Moon. Yes. Anyways, my baby and I are happy that you joined us.
Yes.
We would like you to comment. Have you seen Gremlins
Tell
2?
us your favorite gremlin.
What's your favorite Gremlin?
Where were you when you saw Gremlins 2? How old were you?
You
I
can-
was little.
You can reach out to us at bnsaboutmovies@gmail.com or on one of our Facebook pages, or just comment right here if you're listening through Podomatic. By the way, yesterday on Podomatic.
Someone commented.
No.
Too good to be true. What?
In the TV and movies category, we are ranked number 87.
That's bull.
And we're ranked overall on Podomatic, which has tens of thousands of podcasts, number 2,500. So listeners out, what I want you to do is, if you enjoyed this little spin through Gremlins 2, tell your friends. Share it out. Shout it out. Tell them.
Shout.
Tell them there's this
out.
cute little married couple and their dog. They watch movies.
They have a gremlin.
They have a gremlin. I've often referred to Teen as a gremlin.
Before we saw this.
He looks like Spike so much from the first Gremlins movie.
He does.
He's like
ugly cute. That's what he is.
If all the Gremlins...
Because he has that snarly tooth. He's not like a little prince. He's my little prince. But
he is a little
most
prince.
people are like, what's that tooth?
You
But
know,
then they get to know him. And he's the sweetest.
well,
The
sometimes.
sweetest and the meanest at the same time.
He
Just like a
caught me
gremlin.
right in the face this morning.
Just like a gremlin.
Yeah.
Look at him.
We're going to get a beer and we're probably going to watch another movie, which you'll probably listen to at a later time. Thanks for being part of our evening of Gremlins 2. And we'll see you
At the movie.